Morning, can sleep with or a week. Good morning, good muffins to you. Good morning, good morning. Hey everybody. This is Spilling COVFEFE. There's no agenda today. We're just gonna bounce around. Um, See if anybody's actually here. I don't know if we're broadcasting. I never know if we're broadcasting anymore. It's always a surprise. Happy Monday, everybody. Sounds like everyone's got a bad case on the Monday. Let me just look in here, see if we're actually broadcasting. I'm Kevin Williams, by the way. Hi. I am your Kevinly father. Looks like we might be broadcasting. All right, sweet, sweet. Let's check out the live stream here on the YouTubes and see if it's actually connected. And yeah, we are. Hi, Ann. Hi, Liberty. Hi, Marcy. Good to see you. We're on low latency over there on YouTube, so if you're watching on any other platform, YouTube's going to be the quickest chat response that you can get in today's world with this wacky inflation that we're having to all live through. Nightmare. Economy's roaring. 9.4 million available jobs, lowest unemployment rate since it all began. We have ourselves an open Canadian border. Hooray! So Americans who are vaccinated can get into Canada. You can't have a vaccine passport, Canada. Well, so if you want to go to Canada, it's amazing to me the number of people who live close to the Canadian border. Within
Can't keep all of your
Oh, you
kids
be
home from
quiet.
school. They can't.
Shh, be
It's
quiet. We're gonna watch Rand Paul here in a second. I watched the first like 15 seconds of it. Morning, Jojo. Morning, Cindy. Hi, Chris. Good to see everybody in here. Hi, Allison. I think I said hi to Allison already. I don't know. It's early. It's Monday. I don't care. I get to play Netsing with my good friend Lindsay this morning. That'll be fun. Always a good time. Uh, and yeah, nothing. Did everybody have a good weekend? You can talk about your weekend if you want to talk about your weekend. I had a decent weekend. I think. Did I? Yeah. Oh, hey. So I watched the Suicide Squad. Now, here's the confusion. There was another movie called Suicide Squad in 2014, 2015, 2016, 2016. Let's just say. This one's called The Suicide Squad. It's actually a sequel with very little reference to the first one. It's funny. It's a great movie. It's on the HBO Max if you have that. But it's The Suicide Squad. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the country. There's ads on billboards all around LA. I thought, what is that? How much do you make with a movie nowadays? A big superhero movie. It opened in the theaters and it's on HBO Max at the first time, at the same time. I don't know what it's making on HBO Max because you don't have to pay for it if you have HBO Max, but you have to pay for HBO Max. And yeah. Mm, Here's the thing. 26 million in the theaters. Normally, a movie like that, especially if it's decent, a superhero movie with that Margot Robbie, who's boy, she's a looker, um, and well written and funny and well acted, and CGI is fantastic. I mean, there's just no flaws in it. It's one of the few movies that when you watch the CGI, you're like, oh yeah, I didn't even realize I was watching CGI. We hit that point a couple of years ago. Does anybody know what movie I'm thinking of when I say that's the movie that suddenly, like, oh, those animals are moving just like animals? Are those real animals, or are those? They've had humans down with CGI for quite a while now. You don't have to see the first one. I don't honestly remember much about the first one at all. The second one stands by itself because I don't remember anything from the first one. I mean, come on, kids. It was 6 years ago now. Good morning, Pembroke. Hi. We're coming to you live from Pembroke Studios right now. Let's see if Pembroke is interested in making a cameo. Hi, do you want to come up here? Is it okay? Pembroke's very fussy. I don't know if it's okay for Pembroke up. But let's take a look. There we go. There's Pembroke. You want to say hi to the peoples? Hi. Yeah. Everybody's here. That's the Pembroke who owns Pembroke Studios here. So that's enough cat for today. Speaking of pussies, here's Rand Paul.
It's time for us to resist. They can't arrest all of us. They can't keep all of your kids home from school. They can't keep every government building closed. Although I've got
No one currently is keeping kids home from school. And as far as I know, most of the government buildings are open, even in liberal California, where I am. In Florida, everything's wide open. Listen, they can't keep all of your kids home from school in Florida. They can't keep all of the government buildings closed. In fact, they can't keep any of the government buildings closed. They literally can't keep the schools closed in Florida. It's illegal right now to keep the school. They can't keep all of the hospitals empty of your children. They can't. They're all full. They can't build more ICUs for your children. I don't know where to go. Okay, so I missed that part, but I saw like 10 more seconds of this, and I thought, well, I got to share this. The starfish thing was very creepy in the movie, but let's not give anything away here. A local theater had a scare when some 20-something ran up and down aisle yelling threats and reached into a bag. Somebody yells gun, and the stampede ensued. Sounds like a good time. I watched it. I watched it in the tiniest theater I've ever been in. My daughter's studio apartment, almost in Studio City, and it was like having our own little studio. It was great. Hey, don't hold on, Pembroke. Please don't scratch on carpet, please. I can hear him. He's out there somewhere. There's not supposed to scratch on carpet, so far as I know. I think this is rebellion for being on. I will give you your residuals, okay? We'll make you SAG. You can go fight core if you need to, just so you can do whatever you want to do. All right, but you won't get to vote in the elections. Just saying. He's off into the kitchen.
a long list of ones they might keep closed or might ought to keep closed. We don't have to accept the mandates,
Wait, what?
lockdowns, and all of
Hold
your
on.
kids home from school.
Yeah.
They can't keep every government building closed, although I've got a long list of ones they might keep closed or might ought to keep closed.
Okay. Might oughta keep closed? Might oughta.
We don't
It sounds a lot like an autocrat.
have to accept the mandates, lockdowns, and harmful policies of the petty.
You do have to accept the mandates. That's how the Constitution works. So, I mean, it all depends on your state. But yeah, the states have the right to put down health mandates. That's Gibbons v. Ogden, 1828, 1920, even 1928. That's almost 100 years ago now. Almost 200 years ago. The Supreme Court said, yeah, no, this is the general safety of the people. That's the government's primary job. So yeah, you can have yourself some health mandates if you need to.
Tyrants and bureaucrats.
Yeah, we're in Rand Paul, Libby.
We can simply say no, not again. Nancy Pelosi, you will not arrest or stop me or anyone on my staff from doing our jobs.
The Capitol Hill Police will, if they so choose. If you are violating an order in the cap, I mean that's.
We have either had COVID, had the vaccine, or been offered the vaccine.
Oh, okay. As long as you have been offered the vaccine, you have the antibodies necessary to. Okay, that's how that works, is it? You've had COVID. There's an argument to be made there. Still not sufficient. You can still catch COVID. You can still die of COVID. You have some protection. Vaccine, even with the vaccine, you can still die of COVID, but it's a much lower chance. Unfortunately, no large study has been done with people catching COVID for a second time, but people had COVID for the second time. People had COVID 2, 3, 4 times. Every variant is its own new virus, too. So, yeah, if you've had the Alpha variant, you can catch the Delta variant. It's happening. You can have both variants at the same time, and you can die. But anyway, he's right, though. If you have been offered the vaccine, you have 100% immunity against COVID. So, not to worry. By the way, YouTube, I'm being sarcastic there. You have absolutely no protection if you've been offered but refused the virus. Just so you know. I need a big sarcasm button. And a donate button as well. Here, donate. 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 Got to come up with that. Task number 700. I need t-shirts.
We will make our own health choices. We will not show you a passport. We will not wear a mask.
No, I mean, if you're asked to show a passport, hey, if you want to go to Canada, you will show a passport and you will show a vaccine passport. You will show proof of vaccine if you want to go to Canada. Again, the number of people, the number of Americans that live within a couple of hours of Canada and have never gone to Canada, the number of Americans who've never left the country, it's mind boggling to me. Now, that being said, America's got a lot of stuff. So if you don't ever leave the country, there's still plenty to see here. But it's a big world, people. Yes, I know it's a small world after all, but it's also a big world. There's lots of stuff to see out there, people to meet, different cultures to experience, even within this country.
We will not be forced into random screenings and testings so you can continue your drunk with power reign over the Capitol. President Biden.
Except that they kept loosening rules in the Capitol, and then the Delta variant came out, and then they're like, okay, folks, this is dangerous again. People are going to die. So can we do this, please?
Biden, we will not accept your agency's mandates or your reported moves towards a lockdown.
Okay, but President Biden isn't making mandates. Okay, that's the states. The states. President Biden can make mandates on federal property. Just stay off federal property, Rand. It's not that hard. You know what, Rand? Don't go to the national park. I know that every weekend you just love going to whatever national park is in Kentucky. I'm sure there's one. There's got to be like a bluegrass national park, right? There's got Kentucky. I've driven through Kentucky. It's a beautiful state. Absolutely gorgeous. Just rolling green hills and some trees, like all the states. But I mean, I did spend a couple of days in Kentucky, and I was like, well, this place is actually pretty nice. Okay, wait, go.
No one should follow the CDC's anti-science mask mandates. And if you want to shut down federal...
The science is very clear. Masks help mitigate the spread of COVID-19. New variant, old variant, mask, what the medical community terms mask, surgical masks, etc., not all that effective. They're effective if the person with COVID wears them and prevents the droplets from coming out. Get yourself a KN95, get yourself an N95, get yourself, etc. Okay. The regular mask, the little cloth mask, the little mask that we buy that say your governor is as useless as this mask and all that sort of stuff, not that effective. I'm just being honest with you guys. The masks themselves are not that great. Everybody has to be wearing the mask. And the people that have to wear the mask, the ones with COVID, those are the mask holes that aren't doing it. So yeah, that's why states, localities, businesses, etc., have to have the mask mandate, because none of these idiots understand how the masks work.
Federal agencies again, some of which aren't even back to work yet.
Yeah, Christopher, if you're driving, don't chat. Get out of the chat room. You're banned from the chat room. Just listen.
I will stop every bill coming through the Senate with an amendment to mask mandates.
Here we go.
And if you want to shut down federal agencies again, some of which aren't even back to work yet, I will stop every bill coming through the Senate with an amendment to cut their funding if they don't come back to work in person.
So he's just going to sabotage. He's going to filibuster. Here's number one argument against the filibuster. Rand Paul. He's threatening to filibuster every single piece of legislation that comes through the Senate. Okay, that's what we do here in the United States. Great job, libertarian.
Bureaucrats and union bosses, we will not allow you to do more harm to our children again.
Union bosses? I guess he's talking about the teachers' unions? Never thought of teachers' unions as having union bosses. Just not the auto workers, yeah, sure. Carpentry, sure. Yeah, local 365, yeah. Okay, I can see those people as union bosses. But the NEA, I get it, but just not. They certainly don't come off that way. Union bosses.
This year, children are not at any more risk from COVID than they are from the seasonal flu. Every adult who works...
Right, and we vaccinate the kids against the seasonal flu. We do that. And if they're sick, we keep them home, et cetera, et cetera. But yes, no, they are. As well, those kids can spread it to adults, and adults are seriously at risk. And it certainly seems as if Delta is much more harmful to the kids than the original variant that we had here in the United States. It's anecdotal. We don't have actual numbers on that yet, except that all of the children's hospitals are filling up in the states with problems.
in schools has either had the vaccine or had their chance to get vaccinated.
Oh, again, if you've had your chance to get vaccinated, you don't have to get vaccinated. That's the argument that they're using here. That argument is wrong, by the way. That makes no sense whatsoever. What? Like, how can you argue that? How? How is that? How is that a thing? I didn't pass. I've either passed the driving test or I have taken the driving test. Either way, you can't give me a ticket.
There is no reason.
Or perhaps I had the opportunity to take the driving test. I could have scheduled online a driving test. Either way, I can go as fast as I want.
Reason for mask mandates, part-time schools, or any lockdown measures. Children are falling behind in school and are being harmed physically and psychologically by
and President Trump said they'll never catch up. It's over for those kids. Their lives are ruined.
The tactics that you have used to keep them from the classroom during the last year. We won't allow it again. If a school system attempts
We won't. We won't. Just Rand Paul's just going to say no. We're not. He will stand at the doors of the school, holding them open. And if your kids don't come, he'll come by your house, break in, and kidnap your kids and take them to school. Just what he's not going to stand for this. He will drive for this. Not with a license, but he did have the opportunity to schedule a driver's license test.
to keep children from full-time in-person school, I will hold up every bill with two amendments, one to defund them and another to allow parents the choice of where the money goes for their child's education.
Okay, well, that's ridiculous because that's not federal at all. Like 10% of federal money goes for educate, or the 10% of the education budget at your local school comes from the federal department, and most of that goes to special needs programs. Okay, so your local schools, they're funded by property tax, not by the federal government. Now, there's some auxiliary funding coming from the federal government thanks to the Biden and the Democrats, and last year as well, everybody was voting for it. Even though a Republican governor or Republican president was in charge, all the Democrats voted for all the COVID relief. And hey, yeah, let's make the school safe. Let's get the ventilation working in these places that haven't been touched in 80 years. That's part of infrastructure. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get that money out there. A lot of that money hasn't even been used yet. I don't even remember what the point is anymore. But listening to Rand Paul, why have a point? You don't have a point. You had the opportunity to have a point. At this point, you don't. Go back just a little bit. Oh, yeah. What I'm saying is he can filibuster every bill he wants to, saying we need to defund the schools. It's not going to close any schools. It's not going to keep any schools open. States' rights, Mr. Libertarian. States' rights. 10th Amendment, Rand Paul. Just come on, Rand. You almost used to seem reasonable sometimes. Remember, this is the same guy who had symptoms, took the COVID test, then went and had lunch and went swimming in the Senate pool with his buddies. Same guy.
Will hold up every bill with two amendments, one to defund them and another to allow parents the choice of where the money goes for their child's education.
Oh, but we need the filibuster because it protects the rights of the Rands of the world.
Do I sound fed up to you? That's because
You sound completely insane to me. You sound completely clueless to me, Rand. But go ahead, try it. Try and hold up all the funding for schools. Go see what happens. Super duper effective, buddy. It's almost as if Rand wants to get rid of the filibuster.
I am. I'm not a career politician.
He is a career politician.
Practiced medicine for 33 years.
Oh, and we're done now. Okay, well, I guess that was all the time that Aaron could capture. I don't even know what that's from. What is that? Hold on, that's from Ron. Ron Filipkowski captured that, and it came from. Oh, let's see. Ron, do I follow? I must follow Ron. Let's just make sure I follow Ron. Holy crap, how do I not follow Ron? Ron does a really nice job of capturing all this stuff. Ron, let's have you on the show sometime, Ron. Somebody knows Ron. Let's get him on the show. I want to start doing more interviews now that we have the Google Meets working properly. Let's see what else. Let's just see what's trending on Twitter before we find out what we need to be outraged about. I might like Alex Vindman. Yeah, sure, I might like him. I'll follow him. What the hell? Um, okay, what's happening? Climate change report. Code red for humanity. Yeah, we know that. Melania Trump is trending. Um, Jenna Ellis says Joe Biden should be impeached. No crimes, but remember, it's not important that you have a crime to get impeached. Remember, but they were saying, no, you have to have a crime, but there's no crime, so you can't impeach President Trump. It's the public trust. Josh Hawley doesn't actually own a home or have any residence in Missouri. What? Josh Hawley, who owns a house in Virginia, used his sister's home as, oh my God, he doesn't even live. He doesn't even live there. We're pulling up an article here from the Kansas City Star that might be behind a paywall, but yeah, so there's a paywall. We can't get to it. But the long and the short is that he doesn't even live in the state that he represents. Missouri, 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 W. I've been to Missouri. Missouri, not a particularly pretty state. Lots of hickory, and I love me some hickory. Don't get me wrong. But no, Kentucky, beautiful state from what I saw. I drove to Springfield, Missouri from St. Louis. Nah. Okay, let's check out the Fox and Friends here quickly, so we find out. This is from yesterday. Let's go back and maybe later today we'll cover what's his face? Oh, the guy who had a blog. Used to be president. Oh, I forget his name now. I'm terrible with names. Anyway, maybe later today we'll cover that interview with Don Bangina, ben, some guy on Fox. Used to be on Newsmax. Maybe still is on Newsmax. I don't even know. Guy's got himself outraged with Don Bangina, I believe. Unfiltered with Dan Bangina is the name that I'm looking for. Let's go to the library. Let's find, now that the Olympics are over, hopefully my library won't be filled up with Olympics. I watched very, very little Olympics this year. I don't know, I just didn't have an interest in it. Plus, everything was getting spoiled for me over and over again. The Pillathon starts this week. Yeah, it does. The symposium. So we'll take some time. We'll watch the My Pillow suppository together. 72 straight hours. That's not what it is. But we're going to see a lot of packets. So if you want to see some packets, tune in to Heavenly Father this week. Okay. Andy has a wicked nice tan.
Have a great one.
Okay. Have a great one. There's that analog hiss that we've come to associate with Fox. Go ahead, hit play. Play. Yes? No? I just don't know if Fox and Friends happened. Am I just not getting internets? Hold on. Let's go ahead to 527. Okay, let's go back. I don't know how to make this play anymore. There's no play button.
Biden's $1 trillion infrastructure bill clearing a...
They use this green screen money thing all the time. So if it's the Democrats, it's money, 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 money. And when it's under, I never saw them use it under Trump. No one was worried about the debt under Trump that increased by, $7 trillion.
Major hurdle in the Senate.
There are going to be things in this bill no Republican should vote for, that there's no defense for.
And it's going to be win number 5 on the 2021 season for the driver of the 5. Kyle Larson is going to win at the Glen.
Hold on, guys. I got to adjust the microphone here because my headphones crapped out on me. Bluetooth sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Let's do... hello. Where's my big headphones? Big headphones. Hello. Come on, big headphones. Let's try this. Give me a second, guys. Sorry. That's going to cause echo for you guys. Where are my headphones just not working now? Give me a second, guys. We got to skip that because that's a song anyway. My secondary headphones are not showing up. Okay, I'm going to go back to Bluetooth and just hope that it works. Let's see. Yep. But they're not really working. But here we go.
What is that trophy? Which surprised me that you did not know that the Fox and Friends Weekend Crew competes at everything.
We don't set the alarms on Saturday and Sunday.
The Fox and Friends Weekend Crew competes at everything. And the competition yesterday, which Ashley Strohmeyer won that trophy, which you saw downstairs, was cake flipping. You have to take a cake, flip it in the air, and catch it on its base. And if you do that, you win the trophy. Pete Hegseth and I went for the gusto.
Why waste the cake like that?
Went for multiple flips above head level and caught it by the icing.
Was it icing? So it wasn't just the cake without the icing.
It is a full-on cake.
Yikes. Did you get dirty?
Just my hands. Just my hands. But it was modeled after this wonderful family in New Jersey who's become a TikTok craze. And let me just tell you.
That is actually pretty impressive. I was kind of ragging on him for that, but that's wow. That's not bad at all.
This family, that is.
I didn't hear. There's Antifa in Portland every night. Portland's just insane, but Portland's a great place, regardless of the insanity that happens around the courthouse. But I didn't see. I didn't see what happened to Andy Ngo last night. So,
one family behind.
Is that something that we should be watching, Andy? Because he said that he was attacked by a milkshake with concrete in it, and then one of the local papers in Portland tried it. It doesn't work. You can't fill up a milkshake with concrete. But anyway,
in the scenes there. There's Ashley pulling it off. That's right.
You got a big crowd out there.
It's one family.
Wait, I think, does she just throw it up and catch it? It doesn't look like it actually flipped. Did she? Let's go back. This is important. Right now, we like to get to the
just my hands. Just my hands. But it was modeled after this.
Or the top of things. Either one works for us.
Wonderful family in New Jersey who's become a TikTok craze. And let me just tell you, this family, that is one family behind the scenes there.
It might. I guess it flips. It's hard to see.
Ashley pulling it off. That's right.
You got a big crowd out there.
It's one.
Terrible camera work because the flip takes place above the frame. Come on, guy. You got one job. Seriously. Do they not have a different camera angle on this? Oh, my God. We're going to cover an entire football game from one camera, stationary, in the end zone.
Family, Ainsley. That's one family started this tradition, and after this whole cake flipping experience,
you kind of see it tilt on its way up, and then the actual flippage happens off screen. But good for you, Ashley.
What I came away from it is I am so jealous of not having. I have 2 children. I wish I had 6. I am one of 4 with 3 siblings. I love a big family.
Yeah, you love a big family.
Oh, and there goes Will.
Oh, well, you know
again, they missed the whole flipping, dude. Tilt the camera up.
You know what you did, Will? You threw it so high. See, Ashley was smart.
He's showing off. He knew there was a trophy involved. And that's in the green room. Here's the thing. When you see them competing for the big...
Hey, you can't say, here's the thing. That's my thing. Also, everybody else uses that. I guess so. Go ahead.
Trophy on the weekend?
I think Alec Baldwin actually has a podcast called Here's the Thing. I've never listened to it, but someone told me that.
They all get it eventually.
Right.
So has anybody watched that Dr. Death, I think it's called, on Peacock? It's got Alec Baldwin and the other guy, and then that third guy as well. Has anybody watched that?
It's the participation trophy.
It's the story of the traveling trophy.
Right. It's big.
So anyway.
It's huge. It's in the green room.
And I was told by Will that he has won that trophy in the past. So
I have.
Like the Stanley Cup, they should put everybody's name on.
Such a man. He had to remind you. Yeah. He didn't win this time, but he has won before.
More than once.
Oh, more than once.
No, I'm not counting, but more than once.
You are a winner. You're definitely a winner, Will.
But look, I want to find out what we're outraged by so I can get on with my day. Actually, it's 8 o'clock. I do have to get on with my day pretty quick, so we'll see what the top couple of stories are. I got to imagine it's got to be crime, right? That the crime has skyrocketed. It hasn't actually. A lot of crime is down. Homicides are up. All the other crimes are significantly down this year. Lockdowns help stop burglaries because everybody's always home. It's harder to break in. But, so there's burglaries and there's robberies. Robberies are when you're not home. Burglaries are when you're not home. Yeah. Burglaries are when you're not home. Robberies are when you're home. So burglaries disappear because everybody's always home. You can't burgle somebody if they're at home. You can rob somebody if they're home, but robberies went way down. The idea is to do the burglary when no one's around. Burglary is much, much easier than robbery because there's nobody there to give you a hard time, except perhaps Pembroke. And Pembroke's a hisser. Where is it? Pembroke. Pembroke doesn't also doesn't respond to the, like, what cat doesn't do that? That's cat language as far as I know. But you can hiss it at Pembroke and he'll hiss right back and have no idea. Like, you can be petting him mid-pet with the brush that he's loving on you and rubbing and flopping on the floor and collapsing and, oh, pet me, pet me, pet me. And he'll hiss at you. Like, I'm not sure he knows how the hissing works.
Anyway, thank you very much for no cake flipping during today's telecast.
Yes.
But we've got a lot of news. Thank you very much for joining us on this Monday. We're going to start with Democratic Congresswoman from Missouri, Cori Bush, standing by her funds that we told you about last week to defund the cops.
You can't find a better picture of her. Okay.
It comes as the Chicago Police Department is mourning a fallen officer, a young officer. Her name's Ella French, after another violent weekend. Monday morning, here we go.
Todd Pyro joins us live with the latest. Good morning.
Oh, yeah, Chicago police officer was shot. It's very sad.
Morning, Todd. Yes.
I'm not being sarcastic there, by the way. I don't like anybody being shot. We have a gun epidemic in this country. But again, it's not the gun. It's not the gun's fault.
Steve Ainsley, well, tough way to begin the week. That fatal officer shooting rocking a department that has been the target of numerous protests in recent years, as Democrat Cori Bush doubles down on defunding the police.
So the lead story might be that we had almost 1,000 people die of COVID over the weekend. In fact, probably more, because it's about 400, 300, 400 per day, if we count Friday as well, because they always count Friday in the shootings. So if we're doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday as the weekend, we had more than 1,000 Americans die over the weekend. I can't be sure on that. It could have been 800, could have been 1,200. I haven't looked at the stats yet on that. What I'm saying is COVID deaths are on the rise. We haven't even seen the deaths that will come after the spike that we're going through right now. Because remember, there's a 4 to 6 week lag. Middle of August, end of August, we'll start seeing those deaths piled up. Yeah, we lost another 1,000 Americans this weekend. Again, I can't be sure. We lost quite a few Americans. The lead story, though, is one police officer getting shot in the line of duty. Terrible, both terrible, both terrible. But literally 1,000 to 1. And one of them, terrible, what are you going to do? The other one, terrible, completely preventable. Hey, Americans, we'd like you to stop dying. We would like to save as many Americans as possible because the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, which outweigh the needs of the one. So come on, everybody. Let's get vaccinated. There's your lead story every single day. No.
Please, listen.
I think what we have to look at is the fact that I made it to Congress in 2020. I was elected to Congress.
By the way, I don't support defunding the police at all. I want more police. I want better police training. I want the police who refuse to get the vaccine, get the hell off the force. Those are the stupid ones. We've sorted this problem out, and they volunteered to do it. Hey, how do we get rid of the bad officers, the ones with terrible judgment who make bad decisions and hurt the citizenry? Well, we're going to quit if you make us get vaccinated. Thank you very much. Problem solved.
And we're still fighting this same fight. We're still fighting to save Black lives. When we're adding more money to the police.
Thank you, Shelley, for getting the Spock reference.
But we're still dying. So something has to change.
The Windy City on edge after another bloody weekend with 66
violence in Chicago. Why do I even bother watching anymore? They're just on a treadmill.
people shot, 10 fatally, including that officer, Ella French. She joined the department in April of 2018, another officer in critical condition after that shootout during what was supposed to have been a routine traffic stop. Both French and the injured officer are members of a citywide community safety team that responds to crime hotspots. French's brother, Andrew, telling the Chicago Tribune his younger sister was the epitome of a good Samaritan. Quote, "As much as I was there for her when we were growing up, she was there for me, and I was proud of her. I'm still proud of her. Like this is, God took the wrong kid. My sister was a wonderful person in all ways."
Just absolutely heartbreaking. Heartbreaking for Andrew French, the brother of Ella French, the fallen police officer in Chicago. Just gut-wrenching. That happened 1,000 times over for families. Many family members would have already been vaccinated and had a loved one who chose not to be vaccinated die of COVID, which has just got to be gut-wrenching. Absolutely gut-wrenching. Let's do one more story, and then I've got to get on with my
gun
day.
was recovered at the scene. All three.
I got a tennis thing with producer JoJo and Lindsay, so that's going to be some fun. Not Lindsay in the chat. Lindsay. Boy Lindsay. Oh boy, Lindsay, it's going to be fun. Here we go. Let's go on to violent crime. Stay on the officer. Keep going. I'm not trying to downplay the violence or the officer in any way whatsoever. I just want to get to the next story. I'm hoping it's about Obama because I'm ready to be outraged. He had a party where everyone was vaccinated. And it was, by the way, apparently quite a scaled down version of the party that he was originally going to have. And the right wing just went nuts about it. Rules for thee, not for me, not for thee.
A problem, but we have a political problem.
Okay, still on the Chicago thing. Okay, and then we get a commercial. That's it. That's the one lead story on a Monday after a weekend is Chicago. Let's see if there's anything else coming in here. How about here? One more thing. Falconer Focus. We'll keep going. Walmart, Wounded Warriors. Here we go. How about this? Fox News headlines. Okay, so this is when they have typically a blonde come in and they do news headlines, actual news. So here we go.
Missing 5-year-old continues in Idaho. Michael Vaughn, who is nicknamed Monkey, was last seen near his home in Fruitland 2 weeks ago. So far, police have...
Holy crap, 2 weeks ago. So if you've seen this kid around, please call your local authorities immediately.
Have no leads. Michael was last seen wearing a blue Minecraft shirt. Fruitland police are asking anyone with any information to email their tip line that is shown right now at the bottom of your screen. President Biden's $1 trillion infrastructure bill clearing a major hurdle in the Senate. 18 Republicans joining Democrats in voting to end the debate, sending the package on a clear path towards a final vote. Now, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich is bashing Republicans who he says are buying into, quote, phony bipartisanship.
Democrats are going to write this bill. It's going to be a terrible bill. There are going to be things in this bill that no Republican should vote.
By the way, where the hell is the Oxford comma? I cannot respect her show. Like, regardless of the ridiculous opinions that Levin has, I just can't. I can't.
For that there's no defense for.
Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty.
Well, the defense is that we really, really need infrastructure. That's a fairly solid defense. Judges agree.
Is one of the Republicans not giving in. He joins us in the next hour.
Oh, we should.
Let's
watch
go to
that
the Olympics
later.
now because they came to a close in
Should we watch some Olympics? Oh, it's just the closing ceremonies. All right.
Tokyo. Athletes gathering in the national stadium.
If you give us 20 seconds. If you don't want to know anything about the Olympics, close your eyes and your ears for 20 seconds.
As the Olympic flame was put out, volleyball player Haley Washington cries tears of joy at her gold medal, America's first ever for the sport. The torch was passed to Paris, where fighter jets flew over the city, forming the French flag in colored smoke. They were supposed to fly this football field-sized flag from the Eiffel Tower, but had to change plans due to the weather. In the end, the U.S. came out on top with 113.
You know what? The CGI is good enough on that one.
Total medals.
I mean, it's not Suicide Squad good, but All right, so I don't see Canada on that list. I never do. Winter Olympics, though, Canada dominates. So 2 more years. Go Canada at I don't even know where the next Winter Olympics are. Of course, that'll be controversial. Should we have the Winter Olympics during the Sigma variant outbreak? It's gonna. And will all the athletes be wearing masks?
And 39 gold medals. As you see, they surpassed China in golds by 1.
Oh wait, that's just next year. Somebody look up where are the Olympics going to be next year? The Winter Olympics. That's right, because it's 20. It's funny that they kept the logo Tokyo 2020. That's fine. You know, you've got the stationery. Keep it. I don't know that it's funny. It's just weird. Everything's weird nowadays. Speaking of weird.
Which last week we kept saying, come on, you can do it. And they did.
We're ahead by 1.
We
won. And
by
all
1.
the overalls. I mean, we won by 1. Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
What? The Winter Olympics are going to be in Beijing? Really?
That's
Whether or not you
awesome.
win by 1.
We just had the Summer Olympics in Beijing, did we not? Like 10 minutes ago. They had all the drummers, like the 10,000 drummers. And I'm sorry, but London, Rio, Japan, like no one has come anywhere close to the opening ceremonies of Beijing. The Chinese just kicked everybody's asses on that, and I think we're all going to be licking our wounds for the next 100 years.
100 or you win by 1.
Thomas says the next Winter Olympics are going to be somewhere cold. Judges agree. The judges, has anybody? I don't even know where the judges are. And I think they're in. I think they might be in the pool house out back, which is weird because, as far as I know, there's no pool here. It's odd, but the judges, they, you know, the elites.
You won.
You win. It's a W.
Ricky Bobby.
That's right.
If you're not first, you're last.
Yep.
And we're first.
But how many people actually know that? I mean, the ratings were historically lousy, right?
Yep.
Because in Chile,
now everyone.
Well, the ratings when Olympics happen not in American time zones, especially when it's 2 a.m., the ratings are going to be pretty bad, especially now in social media where you know the results of all the events before you get a chance to see them. And NBC, and disclaimer here, I get paychecks from NBC. I've done shows for NBC, and they send me things, and I'm working against my employer here. But you know what? I'm not going to say whether it's good or bad. I will just say that personally, and everybody that I know wants to see more actual events. When they show the gymnastics, which is really what the vast majority of the people are interested in. When they show the gymnastics, there might be 10 people, 15, 18 people doing the floor exercise or whatever. They'll show 5 and then go to commercial. They show all the golf, all the swimming, all the way. But anyway, I'm all about seeing the athletes doing the sports. I like a little backstory. Give me 30 seconds of a backstory. Oh, it's amazing that she's competing in the floor exercise because she's been dead for 8 years, whatever it is. Good, but let's show actual athletes. In some cases, and I believe this to be true, I could be wrong. In some cases, there were like 2 Americans competing, but if one wasn't vying for a medal, they didn't show the other American, which was really weird. And I could be wrong on this because I'm not a gymnast. I don't know much. But every 4 years, I'm an expert. Or in this case, 5 years. Thanks, coronavirus.
Who's watching us?
Oh, and here's the thing. Sorry, Alec Baldwin, if you're watching. You got your Peacock, right? You got your on-demand streaming service. I should be able to look up any sport and see everything. You got no excuse. But we did that. We were watching the gymnastics, and we're like, oh, let's go look at the other things. And we checked out the Peacock. Some of us were watching it together. We checked out the Peacock. Couldn't find, just show us everybody on the vault. That's all we want. And the vault lasts for what, 4 seconds? It wouldn't even take much airtime. Just give us the highlights of the vault. That's literally the vault. Nope.
Is aware.
Do you think it's because fans couldn't go or because it became so political?
I have no idea.
I have a theory.
It became so political. Come on. Because fans couldn't go. No, it's because it happens in the middle of the night and there's so many other options for entertainment.
I didn't see a second of it.
I have several.
She didn't see a second of it though, so.
Exactly.
I watched archery.
I laid them all out on the Will Kane podcast, which you can go download right now. But I have 5 theories on why the Olympics ratings are so low. That's right, 5. But I'm going to give you the main one.
How much time do we have?
The main one is this. When I grew up, I think when we all grew up, the Olympics embodied a massive rivalry. And sports is about rivalries. It was the United States versus the Soviet Union. And I tuned in to watch the U.S. whip the Soviet Union's butt. Today, we do have a rivalry. It's with...
I don't recall that. But I grew up a Canadian. So I was cheering for Canada to get anything, like to finish top 12, and you get yourself on the box of Wheaties if you're Canadian.
China, but it's largely subtle and under the surface. I mean, it is a real rivalry. I don't know that many Americans understand that and tune in.
No, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Every sport has its own. Like, for example, if you're in watching the gymnastics, the Russians, really good this year. Ukrainians, sometimes pretty good. Chinese, pretty good. Every exercise, etc., has its own little thing. The Russians won the all-around. But again, it wasn't the Russians. It was the Russian Olympic Committee, completely different. And I was like, the whole time that the athletes were competing for the Russian Olympic Committee, I was like, what country are they from? Why won't they tell us? I think that's the end of the broadcast, guys. I gotta get going. I gotta go meet Lindsay for tennis. And that's what we'll do. Producer Jojo, if you're out there, if I'm in your ear somewhere, get ready for netsing. Sorry, tennis. She's an American. She calls it tennis. All right. Speaking of Japan, I got no reference whatsoever. I really think so. Guys, it's been good. It's been pleasurable. It's been good COVFEFE for me. Thanks again to Marcy for this wonderful mug. Just the right size, like my boyfriend. And we will see you probably later on today for some coverage of the Don Bangina interview of crap. I knew I'd forget his name again. The guy who used to be the blogger. And he was a builder for a while. He had a show. The Apprentice. He was on NBC's The Apprentice. He has his own show. And he was, oh, that's right. He tried to overturn our democracy. I forget his name now. Anyway, we'll do the interview with that guy. Guys, be good to each other. Be good to yourself. Most importantly, be good to me.